Hey everybody, Knots Colin here. It was recently the Xbox Showcase, and in it they announced the ROG Xbox Ally. We've got a lot of people asking, what is that? I don't have an Xbox Ally because it's not out yet, but I do have one of these. It's the existing Asus ROG Ally X, which is pretty similar. So I think I can answer all your questions about what the new Xbox Ally is and what it isn't. Well, look, I'll give you the spoiler, okay? The headline that skips right to the end that answers every question you possibly have. What is this? What can it do? And what can't it do? It is a PC, okay? It works exactly the same as a PC. If you want to know whether you can play a certain game on it, if you want to know how Game Pass works on it, the answer is the same as it works on your home computer or laptop, okay? Despite Microsoft's marketing that this is an Xbox, it is not an Xbox. It cannot play all your Xbox games. It plays PC games. It just so happens that there's quite a big overlap between what you can do on a PC and what you can do on an Xbox these days. But this is definitively a PC. And if you don't believe me, well, just look at this. It's Windows. Maybe you're thinking, okay, that's the ROG Ally, but what about the Xbox Ally? Aren't they different? Not really. All they've really done is three little tweaks. They've added more controller-like grips to the sides on the Xbox Ally, and they added a little Xbox button as well. It's higher spec. There's more power in the chips on these new devices, and there's just some software updates to make it look a bit more and feel a bit more like a console. But those updates will be coming to this as well and other Windows devices eventually. Microsoft have confirmed that. So it's really not something to buy that specific device for. It will come to other devices too. So what can you actually play on this thing if you're not familiar with how Xbox and PC sort of converge? Well, three ways to play. You've got your cloud streaming, your console streaming, and your native install. Let's go through them real quick. So the cloud streaming will effectively stream the game through the internet to your device, and it'll stream your controller inputs back. So you need a solid internet connection for that, and there'll be a little bit maybe of input lag latency as it sends the controls back and forth. What can you play using that mechanism? Well, pretty much everything on Game Pass. Not entirely everything. There are some exceptions like Diablo 4, for example, but pretty much everything. And then you've got a growing section of games that if you own them, but they're not on Game Pass, you can still play them. For example, you've got Animal Well there, that's not on Game Pass. And all these games that you can see here, Assassin's Creed is on there. It's a growing list, but I should stress that many of these games you can only play on this via cloud streaming, not via native install. What about console streaming? Well, console streaming literally connects to your Xbox console and basically just uses this like it's a controller, but it's streaming over your Wi-Fi network rather than the internet. So for this to work, you need to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your Xbox, and it will be using your Xbox. So if someone else is connected to the Xbox and they're watching something on the TV, they're going to see what you're doing. You are basically just using this as a remote screen to connect to your console. So this does mean you need to be on the same Wi-Fi network, but it also means that you can play anything that's installed on your Xbox console. Again, there'll be a bit of input latency because you've got to send your commands to and from the console over the Wi-Fi. But doing this, there's really no limitations on the games you can play. So, for example, Ridge Racer is Xbox console only. You cannot play this on PC, but because I'm just connected to my console, that works absolutely fine. All right, so what can I actually install on this and play without an internet connection, without streaming while I'm on the train? Well, there is a lot, but it's not everything. Let's start with some big examples of what you can't play. We mentioned Animal Well earlier. You can only cloud stream it to this. Also, big names like Elden Ring and Elden Ring Night Rain are not Xbox Play Anywhere. If you own them on Xbox, you cannot play them natively on this. Slight caveat to that, guys. They could retroactively change that. It has happened in the past with titles like Balatro, which was Xbox console only until it got added to Game Pass. Then it appeared on the Windows 10 store on PC Game Pass and was a Play Anywhere title. Plus, because this is a PC, if you own Elden Ring on Steam, you can absolutely play it through this device. So what can you play on this? Well, anything that's on PC Game Pass or anything that's Xbox Play Anywhere that you own on that platform. You can see that's a lot of titles. But again, there's a couple of caveats here. Most games play exactly how you'd expect. They have cross-save with your Xbox. They share the same achievement list, and it's basically like taking your Xbox with you wherever you go. That is true for most things. It is true for anything labeled Xbox Play Anywhere, which is something that, again, you can see Microsoft continues to push and invest in. But some things are not that. So here's one example of something that doesn't quite work the way you'd expect. Dead Cells. Dead Cells has been out for a while, and it kind of predates this big push into Xbox Play Anywhere. So it is on Game Pass. It is on PC Game Pass, but it's effectively a different game to the Xbox console version. So it's got its own achievements. It's not cross progression, cross save. If you play it on PC, it will not know about your Xbox console version of this or the progress you've made. So it's basically like starting over. So here's a really tricky example. Diablo 4. Now, as you can see, it's there on the Xbox app. It's there on PC Game Pass for you. But it works a little differently because actually on PC, you install the game through Battle.net, not through the Windows Store. What the hell's going on there? Well, first of all, you're not going to have your Xbox achievements on there, but it is cross progression and it is cross platform. So you will be able to pick up your Xbox save on here and you will be able to play with your friends who play the game on Xbox. But then it gets even more complicated because, well, what if there's, say, an achievement for getting to level 50 and on Xbox you're playing and you get to level 49? Then you log off and later you pick it up on this thing, you get the cross save, and then you hit level 50 through Battle.net without Xbox achievements enabled. Now, you're not going to get that achievement while you're playing through Battle.net. When you fire your Xbox up again and load the save game with cross save, is it going to detect that and unlock the achievement for you? And the answer is maybe. It really depends on the game and whether the developers have implemented it well. I believe from doing a little bit of searching that on Diablo 4 it used to not do that, but they have since patched it so that it does. But the point is, in any situation like this, there are no guarantees. You've got to sort of go and figure it out from Google or just be willing for it to not do exactly what you want. And the same is true for any titles that you get on Game Pass via EA Play, because on PC it wants you to do that through EA Origin. So if we try this with EA Sports FC25, it wants you to go and install the EA app. And again, the achievements are not going to be there for you on the EA platform, only when it's via the Windows Store. Is it cross-save? Is it cross-progression? Are the achievements going to unlock retroactively? If so, it's up to the game developer. Now I've got one more caveat for you. Most of these games you can play offline on the train, no internet to speak of, and it works absolutely fine. You do that by checking that offline permissions box. But even then, there are a couple of exceptions. So in my last video, I showed Doom the Dark Ages running on this device. You can see here it's on PC Game Pass, it's Xbox Play Anywhere. Everything looks good. But what I found was when I tried to play this on the train without an internet connection, it complained on startup that it wouldn't let me proceed, even with offline mode enabled. And there's not really any indicator why that is or whether the game will do that. You just sort of find out as and when you try to launch the game offline. In the end, I was able to still play using either the train Wi-Fi or connecting to a hotspot on my phone, and once it had started up, that was then fine. It doesn't really need a stable internet connection. It's just something that it does on launch for some reason. So you just got to be a little bit wary that it generally works, but just occasionally it'll throw you a little curveball, make your life slightly harder. Now, look, guys, I want to keep you as informed as possible, so I've tried to cover every little caveat, every limitation, every little niggle that I've had while playing with this thing. So it's been quite a negative sounding video overall, but I want to make two things clear. First of all, I love this device. Okay, despite everything I've said, in general, for a lot of things that I like to play, it works completely perfectly, exactly how I want it to work, and I can make the hours fly by on the train. And the second thing is it's clear that Microsoft is heavily investing both in the Xbox Play Anywhere program to make things smoother and in the software that runs on this thing to make it a much more console-like experience. In particular, if you like to play Microsoft's first-party games, Generally, anything new coming out is going to be on Game Pass and it's going to work exactly as you'd expect. Alright, well, I'm going to play some South of Midnight. If you want to know more about the ROG Ally, I did put a video out a couple of weeks ago, just an 11-minute quick intro to what it's like to use this thing. Feel free to check that out. And don't forget, if you do get the Xbox Ally, it can do anything a PC can do, including PayPaling me 8 grand if you want. Bye!